All right, we'll begin on the second PowerPoint for Unit 3 notes. And again, we start off with a lovely picture of chemistry all over the place. You'll notice that we're still working on chemical and physical properties, Unit 3, Matter and Change, and that there is a lovely website where you can listen to the element song again. All right, so on your notes, it's page 2 on your notes, we have states of matter we talked about, kinetic molecular theory, and we're ready to move on to the 4 states of matter. Now these 4 states of matter, you guys should be familiar with these. The first is solids. They have a very low Ke, kinetic energy. The particles are moving according to the kinetic molecular theory. They're in constant motion, but they can't move around. They just vibrate back and forth against each other. They have a fixed shape, or you guys have heard of it maybe called a definite shape and a definite volume. So they don't take the shape of their containers. Solids do expand just a little bit when they're heated. Enough that you can actually tell when it's heated and when it's not. The second state of matter would be the liquids. They have a low kinetic energy also. They have a greater range of motion, so they're not just vibrating against each other. They're sliding around but in constant contact, so they're still really close together. They have a variable shape, which means that they don't have a definite shape. They can take the shape of whatever container you put them in. They do, however, have a fixed volume. So if I pour out a whole liter of Dr. Pepper and I take it out of the bottle and pour it into a big cup, even though it's not in the same shape because you took it from a bottle to a cup, it's still the same volume. It's still 1 liter of liquid. If I pour it into a different container, it's still 1 liter. The volume doesn't change just because you change the shape of it. It does also expand just a little bit when it's heated. Now, the other word that you're looking for here is viscosity. I know that you're looking for it because we talked about it once already. Now, viscosity refers to how easily something flows. If it's really viscous, it flows slowly. It doesn't flow very well at all. If it's not very viscous, it's runny like water. The next state of matter, of course, would be the gases. Gases, instead of having low kinetic energy like the liquids and the solids, they have a really high kinetic energy. The particles can separate. So here we have solid, here we have liquid, and here we have the gases going every which way, ricocheting off the walls, ricocheting off each other. The particles can separate. They can move throughout the container. Whatever the container is, they can move all the way throughout it. It doesn't have a definite shape. It has a variable shape. It has a variable volume, which is pretty unique. The other two don't have that. And it can also float. So think about this. You guys have handled one of those butane lighters before, and you squeeze on the little button, and the gas comes out of a really small container, and it spreads all the way throughout. Another example would be, you guys have probably been in a classroom where one of the ladies decided they were going to paint their fingernails in the back of the classroom. And how long does it take before the teacher finally wakes up and realizes that, oh yeah, somebody's got fingernail polish out? It doesn't take very long, because those gases that are in that little container with the fingernail polish is volatile, which means that it changes to a gas easily. When you take the top off of it, those gases that are in there go from an area of greater concentration inside that little bitty bottle, and they spread out to an area of lesser concentration all the way throughout the room. And give it a few minutes, and you could smell those gases even way at the front of the room. So those gases not only can change shape, you can put them in one bottle to another, they can also change volume. So whereas you started out with maybe 3 milliliters, it changes the volume, how much space it takes up, and you can get the volume of a whole entire room. Okay, there's another video, and we'll look at this when we get in class. The 4th state of matter is the plasma. And we don't talk much about plasma because we don't work with it much. It's very, very high kinetic energy. The particles collide with enough energy that they actually break into charged particles. They make ions, that they knock the electrons off each other. It is the most common in the universe because you'll actually find these in, this is plasma that you'll find in stars. So it's gas-like. So it's like high-energy gas. It's got a variable shape, a variable volume. You can find it in stars, fluorescent light bulbs. They have gases inside of them, and they really energize them by running electricity through them, and it creates that plasma. And then CRTs. CRTs are cathode ray tubes, and we'll talk about those a little bit later on.